Hey folks, Chris Waters here at the Call of Duty Ghosts multiplayer reveal. We've just seen the live stream revealing a whole ton of information about Call of Duty Ghosts multiplayer, and now I'm sitting down with Mark Rubin, the executive producer on the game, to talk all about it. Mark, thanks for taking the time for sitting down in this very busy day.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You were up on stage today talking folks through a lot of the stuff, but we need to get right out of the gate the most important thing covered here. There's a dog in competitive multiplayer.
There is, in fact, a dog.
And his name is Riley, which is so adorable. So Riley,
Weird
the dog,
coincidence,
is a kill streak. Dogs have been kill streaks before, but that was like a vicious pack. In World War II setting, this is a whole different bag.
A whole different bag. This is basically, you're going to call him in. He's going to follow you around. He's going to actually stay with you, and he's going to he's going to take out guys that get too close. Another cool aspect of it is he will growl if there's enemies near, even if you can't see them, if they're like on the floor below or outside a wall or something, he'll growl, let you know there's someone near you.
Well, yeah, we were talking about it during E3, and you know, the dog in the campaign, there's so many tools sort of attached to the dog, so it's neat that you guys are sort of fleshing it out a little bit more as a kill streak. Of course, Riley, not the only kill streak addition or change to Ghosts. You guys mentioned you're taking a lot of kill streaks out of the air and you're putting a lot more on the ground.
Yeah, we found what we wanted to do is keep players' heads down into the map instead of like always like looking up like this, you know. So it really actually speeds up a bit of the action in a way that because you're not constantly worried about what's up in the air. We still have a few air kill streaks because you do want that variety.
Sure.
But we put a lot of interesting stuff down on the ground, and one of the most interesting ones I think still is the UAV. You know, everybody knows UAV and they know it's the circles above. Throw a few stingers at it, it's all gone.
Yeah.
But now it's called SATCOM, and it's literally a device that you just put down in the ground, and they stack in an interesting way. The first one you point out actually gives you what's called eyes on, which isn't like your normal UAV. It's not a sweep.
Okay.
It's basically what it does is any enemy that any of your teammates see or anyone on your team sees, shows up on the radar.
Okay, and that's just visual confirmation. You don't have to press a button to activate anything. It's just
automatic.
It enters your view, boom, he's on the radar.
If he's anywhere in your view, he's on your radar.
And also another big map feature that you guys, of course, talked a lot about today and saw and showed a bunch off during the stream was destructible, like, sort of map elements. You can blow up the gas station roof, it can fall. You can blow up that bus and send people who are in the bus for some reason to their doom. So how does that sort of factor into what kind of tone you're setting for Ghosts multiplayer?
It was really more about doing a more like cinematic destruction rather than just destruction.
Right.
And a lot of times destruction just happens for the case of, like, I can blow things up, blowing stuff up.
Which is fun.
But
also,
don't
maps
knock it
instantly
at all.
they kind of have this tendency towards just a wasteland look, and you know,
it's still cool. I love it.
Yeah.
But for us, what we wanted to do was add player-driven cinematic moments. So there's small stuff. There's, like you saw, blowing up a hole in a wall. Pretty straightforward. There's the bus falling over with somebody inside, which buses are genuine cover.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, people maybe don't expect you because it's kind of a high-risk place if you know it's going over the edge.
In and out, yeah. But there's also big map-changing event stuff. So today, actually, we were playing Strike Zone live with the pro players and the Marines.
That map outside of the baseball stadium.
Yeah, it's just like, it's in the bleachers and in the sort of the concession area of a baseball stadium. And interestingly, in that map, and it didn't happen for the live stream, but it can in regular play, is you can get a care package through completing an in-game challenge that gets you a Odin strike, which destroys the map. And I mean destroys it. Like, everybody dies.
Okay.
It's like the nuke.
Yeah.
But instead of the nuke, where the nuke was just sort of everybody dies and there's a big colorful explosion and the lighting changes a little bit, the whole map is destroyed and it looks like a destroyed version of where you were. So the routes are actually changed. They're different. You know, where you used to be able to go before, it's all rubble and new openings or holes inside of buildings.
You gotta get your bearings again. You gotta look for enemies in new places.
Yeah.
Now, the in-game objective, that was field orders. We sort of saw that during the match here, that ghostly briefcase hovering over. Players weren't quite able to complete that during the match today, but is that is that across game modes, or is that just in the specific cranked game mode that we saw people playing today?
That's across game modes.
Okay.
And it'll be in every game mode, every map. Some maps will have that kill streak I was telling you about.
The map specific.
The map specific ones. And it comes from those field orders. Some maps, don't have anything like that, and they get you other things. So it is still a care package. So
Sure.
you have a chance to get that map changing event.
Well, Cranked was the mode that we saw in action on the Strike Zone map, so people got a good look at sort of the pace of that and how you guys are really incentivizing this kind of frantic play, which, I mean, you guys are like, hey, let's make Call of Duty multiplayer more frantic. I like the way you're going. You're really dialing it up there. But there's other modes that you also showed and also teased. Let's talk about Search and Destroy real quick.
Search and Rescue.
Search and Rescue, that of course, because the rescuing is the key part here.
Yes.
It's kind of reminiscent of Kill Confirmed. An enemy, anyone goes down, there's tags.
Yeah.
But picking up those tags doesn't just affect score.
Right. So basically, if you played Search and Destroy, you know that, if you're that run and gun guy and you run out into the action and you die right away, you're waiting out for the rest of the mode.
Sure, yeah.
I know, because I'm that kind of guy. But anyways, what we've done is you're as a player, you drop a tag, and if an ally picks up that tag, you're going to respawn back at your spawn point. And then if an enemy picks it up, then you are actually out for the round. So it's really interesting because it adds a dynamic of, you still have to complete those Search and Destroy objectives.
Yeah.
But you also are paying attention to tags. When you kill somebody, you're like, okay, I got to get that tag before an enemy gets it. Or when an ally goes down, you need to go get that tag.
You instantly prioritize that tag over whatever else you're doing.
Sometimes over the objective.
Yeah.
Because you need to get that player back into the match.
And that's kind of interesting when compared to Cranked, because it almost seems like you're encouraging a more methodical, more cohesive team kind of play, something that might be a little more reserved than the frenetic sort of running around of Cranked.
Absolutely. I mean, as you said, you kind of joked about it, as Call of Duty is already frantic.
Yeah.
Well, we try always to have variety, whether it's in the maps or in the modes. So there are modes for people who want a slower, methodical, strategic style of gameplay, and there are of course, super intense. I'm on, 12 packs of Red Bull, and let's get this thing going.
Don't abuse Red Bull, kids. Well, let's go on to more stuff that you guys did talk about today. Of course, one of the big things being character customization. For years that's been something that's made its way into Call of Duty in only very small, incremental ways.
Yes.
But this is like a whole overhaul of that system.
Yeah, and it really came from the fact that we redesigned our engine. So it wasn't just like, oh, we're going to put prettier graphics in, we're going to redo the lighting engine, or we're going to add
those Spetsnaz uniforms are going to look extra spicy.
Extra Spetsny.
Yeah. Spetsnazi.
Spetsnazi. Oh dear, that might go bad.
Whatever the adjective form of that is, which we just butchered.
So, the previous engine would not do what we did. It would not handle customization. It's pure memory allocation problem. It just wasn't built for that. So when we got that opportunity to really rebuild the engine from scratch, in many places, that became an opportunity that we wanted to latch onto, of customizing your character, getting you more attached, more invested in who you are as a player. And obviously with that came the idea that, well, when we're going to do character customization, we want to be as inclusive as possible.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to...
You have the female soldier.
Female soldier.
And of course, soldiers of all races as well.
Yep.
So I think that, got a great response from the folks here in the crowd, certainly, and I'm sure folks at home are having a good response to it as well. And if you're not, you should be. Shame on you. But to clarify the sort of new engine stuff you're talking about that enables this kind of customization, that's cross-generational. That's not just something that folks on Xbox One or PS4 are going to be enjoying.
Correct. Every single platform will have that.
All right. So with character customization comes, of course, loadouts. And you guys talked about your loadout system sort of being inspired by the Pick-10 system, which Treyarch debuted last year with Black Ops 2. That was a whole different reimagining of loadouts, and you guys are sort of taking that and putting your own little spin on it.
Yeah, and the biggest part of that spin is perks.
That's right. The main primary, secondary weapons, that stuff functions in a similar way, but now you have a whole allocation separately for perks, and perks are assigned different number values depending on presumably what kind of effect they're having.
Yeah, balance, basically.
Yeah. And so, but perks, you know, you guys said, you know, there's values of 1 through 5, you have a certain amount of perk points, but there are ways to rejigger your loadout so that you can lean way into perks by, like, going gun-free, which was one of the wackier things you could do in Black Ops 2. You guys like that? What did you see about that system that made you want to continue it in this way?
It really fed into the whole play your way, you know, play the way you want, the whole idea of character customization. It made sense to allow players to, you know, alter the rules a little bit in a sense, you know, and you know, get rid of your secondary, get rid of your equipment, get rid of everything, and just be perk man.
And have you had some perk men and women around the office doing their strange perk business?
I try not to look. I try to look away when that happens. Like, oh,
what happens in playtesting stays in playtesting. So with loadout customization, of course, we want to talk weapons. And one of the main focuses you guys sort of mentioned during the presentation today was the new class of rifle, the Marksman, which sort of finds a niche between sniper and assault rifle in the range that really a lot of people love to play with, that, you know, that ballista or that whatever other sort of semi-automatic sniper rifle or, you know, high damage assault rifle. So that's where you guys are creating a new niche for weapons.
I think so, and for me it was actually one of my favorite adds or additions to the game. And it really, and I said it on stage and I really meant it. It reminds me of the single-shot rifles from COD 1 and COD 2.
Certainly, no doubt a lot of people are going to be getting into those. Even those who maybe don't even remember the days of COD 1 or 2.
They weren't born yet.
That was many moons ago. With the new loadout system, you guys have also implemented squad points as a way to unlock new things. And when you were describing them as sort of a currency that you gain from playing in matches, I was reminded of COD points, which Treyarch used in Black Ops, but that was sort of more of a currency in terms of you could gamble it, you could spend it on, but you could also spend it, gave you that freedom of customization. You know, you're breaking away from a linear unlock path.
Yeah, so it's not quite like what they did. It's definitely something different. It's basically, if you think about it, instead of having to get to level 42 to unlock a specific weapon, you can unlock whichever weapon you want. So as soon as I earn enough squad points, and weapons have, you know, everything has like an economy to it, so weapons will cost different amounts of squad points, but once I get enough of those squad points, I can go buy a weapon, and I can choose whichever weapon I want.
And so all the weapons are going to be available right from the get-go. There's no sort of tiered groupings, and that's a big difference.
That's the big difference. Yeah. That's the key, is allowing players not to have to, you know, sort of grind through, potentially play with a weapon they don't want necessarily to be using.
But let's swing back and get into the squad gameplay modes, because I think these are some of the most intriguing things you guys are doing in terms of what kind of experience a player has when they come to that multiplayer experience. Because in the past, we've seen you know, bot matches as a way of disconnecting, giving people another option out of the main competitive maelstrom of Call of Duty, and you guys are doing something that's way more advanced than that, but similarly broadens the scope.
Now, we have another mode called Squad Assault.
Okay.
And what that mode does is basically it's you and your AI in your squad, or you and 5 friends against another person's squad. So not them, they're not involved.
Right.
But against their squad. And the way that works is every player, basically, will create their, excuse me, out of their 10 soldiers, they'll create a squad of 6.
The dream team.
Their dream team.
Yeah.
They'll kit them out. They'll make sure that their default loadout is the one that they want to use when they're playing as a squad. They'll then also pick the map and the mode that they want their squad defending.
So they get to pick the home turf, and so that you're sort of, these are all the strategic things you can do to prepare your squad and set the best conditions for them to win, but ultimately you're just setting them free and letting the AI take over, and good luck, guys.
Yep, that's exactly right. And then what's going to happen is, as if I'm playing, I can go in and matchmake up against similarly skilled squads and play against them. Or I could go on my friends list and, you know, pick on the guy that's not very good and and play against his squad.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, and the cool thing is let's say I'm at work and you're at home playing hooky, and
never would happen.
And you're playing against my squad, I'll actually get with the Call of Duty app, I'll get a message saying that
your squad is in action.
Squad is just destroying this kid.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him now.
Oh, he's homesick and he's just stomping all over him. Oh, computers are dominating him. Gosh, I really look forward to that, Mark. That sounds wonderful. But before we wrap the interview up here, let's talk about that app, because this is something that, people have been able to track stats and, share results and loadouts and stuff with the Call of Duty Elite in the past, but it seems like with this app for Ghosts, you guys are really taking on a lot more.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is the stats part is pretty straightforward.
Sure.
And even things like adding the ability to create your class on app, pretty straightforward. What we wanted to concentrate on, and we found this from over the last couple of games, is clans are a really big thing. Like, people love to play as a clan. So we're looking at numbers of how many people are playing as a clan, and it's actually really significant. You look at some of the stuff that Elite did with clan operations and stuff like that, and really popular. So what we wanted to do was support that. And so we have some stuff in game for clans, and then we also have a lot of stuff outside of game for clans, whether it's creating clans or even just like having your own basically social network, like a Facebook feed.
Posting to your clan wall or whatever, texting to people in your clans.
Stuff. So, and then on top of that, we have a whole game mode outside of the game for clans that I'm really looking forward to, because it's a really competitive style mode called Clan Wars, that basically you go out as a clan and you just play, and depending on what mode you guys are coordinating to play on, it will change the ownership of points on this map.
Of different territories in sort of a little world map that and you're placed in this metagame, this world map with clans that are sort of around your general
skill
level.
Yeah, not number level necessarily, because that just means more of like how long I've played.
More the time you've put in,
right. It'll be match made on skill level.
So do you guys have that's beneath the hood skill matching stuff that won't necessarily surface to the player's eye, but it's working. You're not going to get into a clan war and just get totally romper stomped if all goes according to plan.
That's up to you at that point.
Well, it also depends on how much time you're putting into the clan wars, right? Playing as a clan. But I think that this is something that is obviously an issue that's on a lot of people's minds this coming fall with the new generation of consoles, is that these clans are cross-generational, cross-platform.
Yes, absolutely.
And is that within a certain family, as you said, like Microsoft systems, Sony systems? Clans can be any system.
Yep. Yes.
And of course, plenty more news on Call of Duty Ghosts coming out next week from Gamescom. We've got a team from GameSpot live in Germany coming up next week, and you'll be there too, so maybe they'll even track you down. But looking ahead, lots of Call of Duty Ghosts news to come. Of course, today, the big reveal day, and the big release day coming out in November?
November 5th.
All right.
For current gen. I don't know when next gen's coming.
And next gen, sometime. All right.
In November.
Mark Rubin, thank you so much for chatting Call of Duty Ghosts, and thank you folks for watching GameSpot's interview here at the Call of Duty Ghosts multiplayer reveal.